Hey everybody, Dr. Brad here from drellisor.com, Kids Eating Broccoli podcast. Today, I wanted to weigh in on the WHO list of 10 health threats for 2019. Now, I've been hearing a lot about it. People have been really going off about how they listed anti-vaxxers, people who are anti-vaccines, as one of the health risks of 2019. So I went to the WHO's website to look at the post itself, and I have a couple things about it, because I wanted to look at what else they listed as the top health threats out of curiosity, if they were listing anti-vaxxers as one. And so, we see, where did I see that? We see things like, they call it non-communicable diseases, but chronic illness, lifestyle illness, global flu pandemic, resistance to antimicrobials, HIV, air pollution, climate change, right? And so I'm like, all right, where's the anti-vaxxer thing? And on their list, it's called vaccine hesitancy. I'm like, well, that's not anti-vaxxers. That's vaccine hesitancy. And so I searched it, on the old Google, and I found tons of so-called mainstream, really what I call corporate media outlets, reporting the study that it's saying anti-vaxxers. But in the actual study, it just says vaccine hesitancy, which, by the way, if you're an anti-vaxxer, seeing that vaccine hesitancy is big enough that it showed up as a health risk on the WHO site, that's a huge win, because that means the word is spreading far and wide enough that enough people are hesitant, avoiding vaccines, delaying vaccines, asking questions about vaccine safety, that they're starting to hesitate. But I wanted to talk about one other part of this picture. How could there be a list of top 10 health dangers, or whatever they call it, health threats for 2019? And the number one, in my opinion, isn't even up there. And that is our old friend glyphosate. There's nothing even here about GMO foods. There's nothing about toxins aside from, there's nothing about toxins aside from air pollution, right? But what about glyphosate? I mean, glyphosate is the most widespread toxin on the planet. Over 3 billion pounds a year globally is sprayed on the planet. Did I mention that it's water soluble? And this planet is mostly water. So every time it gets sprayed anywhere, it washes into the water table, washes into the rivers, streams, oceans, lakes, oceans, goes into the atmosphere, rains down on us. In the U.S., 75% of the rainfall, 75% of the air that we breathe, 75% or more of the groundwater is contaminated with glyphosate. I've run into people who have children that they have fed at home exclusively organic food their whole lives, get tested and find out that they're positive for glyphosate residue. This is the ubiquitous chemical. And, I get it. These WHO and all these corporate news sites are not going to take on the big guy of what you see Monsanto, now Bayer, and upset their corporate sponsorship. But the truth is that, I'm all for spreading the word, opening people's eyes about things like the dangers of vaccines and so forth. But we got to start waking up to this bigger, in my opinion, problem. And the reason it's a bigger problem, glyphosate that is because you don't have a choice. And I just said, there's people who are raising kids exclusively organically fed, and they're still showing up with enough glyphosate in their system to show up on the test. That's a big issue, because even if you set out to design the most perfect toxin that would slowly but surely make an unhealthy, sick population, you could almost not design a better one than glyphosate. It attacks our health and our well-being at every step, every level along the way. It is a potent and powerful antibiotic, antimicrobial, antifungal. So when it gets sprayed in the farmlands, it destroys the microbial life in the soil. What that does is it makes for unhealthy plants because they're not getting the right constituents out of the soil. Next, it directly blocks the uptake of the alkaloids and the production of the alkaloid compounds in plants. If you don't know, alkaloids are most of the medicinal properties of plants, of food. And you know that food made thy medicine. Most of that's the alkaloid substances, which are directly disrupted and blocked by glyphosate. It also interrupts the production of 3 important amino acids. So while the food should have these amino acids in it that we require for life, it actually doesn't, even though, to us it looks like a regular whatever it is, corn or soybean. The residue itself gets into our microbiome and directly disrupts the health and the balance of that microbiome by destroying the bacteria, funguses, and all that stuff. And then we've also found that it directly attacks the tight junction, so causes for a leaky gut in our gut directly from the chemical. So, in my opinion, that should have been number 1 on the list, not making the top 10. So I just wanted to weigh in there on that. I've been saying a lot about it, and hopefully you find this a little valuable, and you can get out there and talk to people and spread the word about glyphosate. That's the active ingredient in Roundup, by the way. Okay, we'll see you next time.